In this video series, I'm going to take you through the process of getting the bitterleaf plant cuttings, getting it to root, and then also planting that in ground in the garden. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yaje here, and I'm super excited for this video series. I am so excited because I have it as my mission to get a lot of people to become very familiar with this super important African vegetable known as the bitterleaf plant. Bitterleaf, also known as Vernonia amygdalina, is a medicinal herb native to tropical regions of Africa. So we're talking about Cameroon, Nigeria, and other countries in the area. In Cameroon, we refer to the bitterleaf as ndole, and some tribes in Nigeria call it onugbu. So in this series, I intend to teach you, to show you step by step what you can do to get the bitterleaf plant to grow from the stem. This first part of the video is going to teach you how to get the stem cuttings, and then I'm also going to show you what you need to do to get that to root. Now you need some tools to get the job done. We are going to need something to cut the stems, and I recommend a pair of garden shears. The second thing that I'm going to recommend that you get is a jar or a vase like this one. You're gonna fill that jar or the vase with clean water. And then the third thing that you're gonna need, of course, are the bitterleaf plant stems. I have some here which I got from last season. They are in a bucket right now. I was just trying to preserve the stems throughout the winter so that I have them in the spring. But I'm going to collect some cuttings from this one, and we're also going to go outside and get some cuttings from some of the bitterleaf plants that I have growing in containers. So let's go do that. All right guys, these are my bitterleaf plants growing in containers. I did this just to preserve them again through the winter. When it's very cold, I take them inside, and then when it's not as cold, I bring them outside. Anyway, we're gonna get some stems from here to propagate them. Alrighty, so I'm just going to cut and try to cut at an angle, maybe 45 degrees, like so. So that's a stem, and I'm going to get rid of the leaves. We don't want any leaves. We want the bitterleaf plant to concentrate its energy to producing roots. So I'm going to get rid of the leaves. Okay, so this is a stem cutting. See the length? This is about right. What we want is to have some nodes left. Okay, and this part is going to go underwater and it's going to root, and this one is going to become a whole different plant. So this is what we want, guys. I don't need the leaves. Okay, so this one. Okay, let's get more. See this one? This can be two. I think I can make another cutting right here. So hopefully it's not. I've had this in water for over a month now. So I'm gonna put this in soil, and then I'm gonna just try to get more roots from this one right here. Okay. See how this one is still green? This one, that the stem that is still green, is the soft cutting, and then this one that is more mature and brown, that is like a hardwood cutting. This one definitely will root. Sometimes the ones that are still green might not root. So here's my vase. It already has water in there. Let's do another one. Then when you're done, you want to clean, just wipe it dry, your shears before you save them. That way they don't rust. Don't forget, otherwise they will always rust. So clean your shears and then save them in a dry place. All right guys, so I am done. I have prepared the stems and they're all sitting in water in my vases, as you can see. So you want to make sure that you don't have any leaves covered by the water, because if you have the leaves down here, obviously it's going to rot. So that's how much water we have. See that? Okay, so I have like 4 jars with my stems right now, and in one of the jars, because like I said, I started this whole process back in December. Some already have roots, as you can see. See that? Just to see how pretty it is. This one is ready to go in the soil right now, but since we're in January, I think I'm gonna leave it in water for a few more weeks before I put the stems in soil. But this is not where it is going to sit. I'm not gonna let these sit right here because I'm in my garage. We need some sunlight for photosynthesis, so I'm going to show you where I will take these vases and set them for the next couple of weeks. All right guys, so I brought my Bitterleaf vases indoors. This is in my kitchen, and the vases are sitting on my windowsill, and that's because I can get sunlight, indirect sunlight from that window, and it will help my Bitterleaf stems to photosynthesize and all of that good stuff. All right, so guys, the next time you see an update from me on this Bitterleaf project, we're gonna talk about how to change the water, the maintenance, and then we're also gonna talk about how long it takes for the root to start to form. So today is January the 27th, so we'll see how long it takes to root. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm excited for today's video because we are going to continue working on our Bitterleaf project. This is the second video in the series. In the first video, I showed you how to get the stems and then get the stems to root in water. And so today's video, I'm going to show you how to change the water that you have your stems growing in, the frequency with which you should change the water, and then we are also going to plant some of the stems that already have roots in ground, and I put that in quotes because we are not actually planting that in ground, but we'll put them in bags, which is what this video is about. So guys, here are our Bitterleaf cuttings in water about 10 days later. As you can see, we're starting to form roots. The little bubbles that you see, roots are gonna come out of there. In fact, this one right here, we have root already forming. This is 10 days later. Okay, so what I'm about to do now is change the water, which you should do every 2 to 3 days. So 3 times a week. You can do a schedule of Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or something like Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, something like that. So every 2 to 3 days, you empty out the water and then fill it up with fresh room temperature water. So we need fresh room temperature water every 2 to 3 days. Let me show you how you do it. Get out the dirty water and then just fill it up with room temperature water. you want to bring it up to about the same level, like so. Okay. Okie dokie. We have fresh water in here, and you're gonna repeat this process until the roots form and they are about 1 to 2 inches long. When you have the root ball clusters about 1 to 2 inches long, then we're going to transfer the stem in ground, which is the very next step. All right, guys, so let me share with you what you need for this part of the project. We already have some of the stems, some of the bitter leaf stems that have produced roots. As you can see, these are about 2 months old right now, so it's about time for me to put this in soil because we need nutrients at this point. Okay, I have my garden shears right here. Again, it's clean. Always make sure you clean it and then wipe it dry before you save it. So I'm going to use that. I'll show you how. I have a jar with water. I'm going to show you how I use it here in a second. And then this is where I'm going to plant my bitter leaves, in these bags. Okay, these are nursery bags. I got them from Amazon. You see the holes? They have holes in them. So I'm going to put soil or potting soil in here and then plant the stems inside. I have soil here. This is potting soil. You want to make sure it says potting mix. This is very important. Don't get like in ground soil and stuff. This is specially formulated potting mix soil for growing things in containers. So make sure you get one that says potting mix on the label. Okay, this is important. Okay, so this is how it looks like. It's very light. It has nutrients in there. It is formulated to retain moisture and also to let water through, so you don't have your plants being waterlogged. So that potting mix is extremely important. I'll say that again. It has to say potting mix. Okay. I'm going to use this right here to fill up the bags, just like so. That is enough. And then I'm gonna sit it in this little container right here. All right, so I'll fill up the rest of the bags and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm done filling up the bags, as you can see. So I have a total of 12 bags filled with my potting mix soil. The next step is to water. All right, so I'm done watering the potting mix soil. The next step will be to plant the rooted stems in here. So I'm gonna try not to disturb the roots as much as I can, and I'm gonna do that by using another stick here to just make a hole. The hole is deep enough to cover this part of the stem. Okay, so we want to cover all of this in the hole here. Let me show you. See how deep that hole is? Okay, just gonna make it wider. Guys, we're done planting our bitter leaves. I think these stems are too long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim the stems, okay? These are way too long for my liking. I'm gonna trim them just like that, okay? And then I'm gonna put this one in water and hope to get more roots, okay? I'm just gonna trim them like this, just so that if I'm shipping them, I can get them to fit in a container, okay? So some of you have reached out and you're asking me how you can get the stems. Hopefully I can get some of these out to you in the spring. Hopefully I can ship them out to you. Oh. Jesus. Oh, I got it. It's kind of tough. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trim all of them, okay? And then after trimming them, I'll take them inside because it's quite cold. I'll take them inside, and then on days when the weather is decent, I'll bring my box outside. That's why I have it in a container, so I can easily carry it in and out of the house. So that's our finished product, guys. Okay, and these are some of the cuttings that I took. I'm gonna try to see if I can propagate these again. I hope this was useful to you guys, and as always, I'm gonna ask you a favor to subscribe if you haven't done so. Like the video, please, guys. It's super important that you like the videos. This is the third part of our Bitterleaf series, where I'm trying to teach you how to take the stem cuttings and then propagate it. As you can see, our bitter leaves are doing so well. I eventually set up a mini greenhouse and took all of my stems outside. You can see I planted them in different containers, some in cups, some in smaller nursery bags, and some in these bigger nursery bags. They have rooted beautifully, as you can see. At this point, it is warm enough to put the stems in ground. So I'm going to now transplant the stems in ground. Bitter leaves thrive in well-draining soil that is rich in organic matter. Make sure you enrich your soil with compost, with manure before planting your bitter leaf. And the spacing about 12 inches apart, 12 to 18 inches apart is good because we want good airflow so that the plants can thrive. So you're going to water regularly. Consistent watering is important, and then as needed, you can apply an all-purpose fertilizer to improve growth of the bitter leaf plants. So this is how you grow bitter leaves from stems. At the end of the growing season, around October or November, make sure you take stem cuttings of the bitter leaves because the bitter leaves will probably not survive the winter. So take the stem cuttings, root them in water for about 2 to 3 months, and then put them in nursery bags so that the plants can continue to grow. And when all dangers of frost have passed, grow them in the garden. I'm growing them in giant fabric bags, but you can plant them directly in ground or in containers. They do well in containers as well. After 4 to 6 weeks or so after transplanting them in ground, you can start harvesting the bitter leaves, and then the cycle continues again. After a few weeks, your bitter leaves will be ready for harvesting. So tell me, how do you enjoy your bitter leaves? I have a recipe for making a bitter leaf drink that is extremely good for you. If you want to see how to make bitter leaf juice, check out the video. I'm going to link it up in the description box below. I also cook something we know as ndole with the bitter leaves. I also have a recipe on the channel. You might want to check it out. So let me know, how do you enjoy bitter leaves?